At 83, she built a secret mall under her mansion. Guess which legend it is beat? And that's only the first shock. From midnight recording sessions that still smash Billboard records to cloned puppies patrolling a $100 million oceanfront fortress, Barbra Streisand's life rewrites every rule of aging. How did a Brooklyn girl, once too poor for a doll flip scarcity, into a lifestyle empire that funds women's heart research worldwide? Let's dive in right now. Malibu Sanctuary and Underground Mall. Imagine opening a plain wooden door and finding yourself in a secret shopping district lined with vintage storefronts. Yes, an actual street beneath Barbra Streisand's clifftop mansion. A $100 million Malibu compound that Architectural Digest calls one of California's most ambitious private estates. The 8-bedroom main house already commands postcard views of the Pacific. Yet Streisand's real wow factor lies underground. B's doll shop bursting with 19th century porcelain faces. A gift boutique stacked floor to ceiling with rose-pink depression glass. Even a frozen yogurt stand where Spielberg and Oprah have scooped their own toppings during her legendary movie nights. When I first read the New Yorker profile describing this mall, I wondered if it was a myth until playwright Jonathan Tollins turned it into the Broadway hit Buyer and Seller, confirming the legend and cementing Streisand's status as the world's most whimsical curator. She admits the display compensates for the doll I never had as a child, transforming childhood scarcity into an immersive museum of abundance. Here's the part they don't tell you: every collection doubles as a philanthropy pipeline. Pieces that outgrow the shelves are quietly auctioned, with millions funneled into her Women's Heart Research Fund. Luxury meet purpose. But the bigger revelation hides in plain sight beneath the glamour. Streisand has engineered a fortress of creative solitude, a place where she can record vocals at 2 a.m. without disturbing a neighbor, review Caitlin Moran essays in her rose garden by noon, and screen test lighting for her next duet video at sunset. In an era of disposable celebrity mansions, her estate proves that design can tell a life story and finance a medical breakthrough. And this subterranean wonder is only the prologue, because when the rest of Malibu sleeps, Streisand's real routine begins. Midnight routines, Wordle nights. Picture the Pacific surf glittering under moonlight while most of Los Angeles snores. That's exactly when Barbra logs in robe, reading glasses, and a fresh Wordle grid glowing on her iPad. We love the silence of the night. James Brolin confessed on CBS Sunday Morning, calling their custom mattress the best investment we've ever made. As someone who's tested late-night productivity hacks, I'm fascinated Streisand and Brolin routinely rise after 2 p.m., then conduct contracts, remix tracks, and answer fan mail right from bed. Harvard sleep researcher Dr. Sarah Mednick says shifting circadian rhythms can protect creativity by shielding the brain from daytime noise. Streisand's gold-plated resume might be the proof. Yet she guards her tranquility with playful rituals, Wordle before sleep to free my mind from the day's calamities. She told people, followed by a handwritten gratitude note slid under Brolin's pillow, an intimacy practice therapists now champion for long-term couples. But what happened next will surprise you. Producers used to complain she'd record only after dusk, until Sony engineers realized her 11 p.m. takes carried a velvet warmth daytime sessions lacked. Those nocturnal vocals helped partners debut at No. One in 2014, making her the only artist with chart toppers in 6 straight decades. The takeaway: conventional schedules suit conventional dreams. Streisand chose the night and rewrote Billboard history. Stay tuned, because her midnight philosophy powers far more than music. It underpins the wellness blueprint that keeps her thriving at 83. Wellness habits at 83. If you assume Hollywood longevity requires 5-hour gym marathons, Barbra's regimen will reset your expectations. Cedars-Sinai cardiologists credit her $10 million Barbra Streisand Women's Heart Center with exposing how stress, not just cholesterol, imperils older women, and she practices what she funds. Instead of punishing workouts, she favors restorative morning stretches facing the ocean, followed by green tea-laced frozen yogurt served naturally from the basement sweet shop. Prevent, don't panic, she jokes, tracking vitals through a discreet Apple Watch but skipping red carpet cleanses. A 2024 Mayo Clinic study shows that 20-minute daily mindfulness can slash cardiac events in seniors by 48%. And Streisand might be its unofficial poster icon. Her evening wind-down pairs Wordle with box breathing. And she keeps paperbacks of Pema Chodron essays on the nightstand to tame news cycle anxiety. I tried her routine for a week and noticed deeper sleep by day 3 proof that simplicity can outperform biohacking gadgets. Critics once derided her for cloning her late dog Samantha. Yet even that decision reflects emotional self-care. The cloned Cotons de Tuliar, Miss Scarlet, Miss Violet, and Miss Fanny act as living mood stabilizers, tails wagging through songwriting sessions. And here's the twist. Friends say she schedules all medical appointments on the property, turning one wing into a concierge clinic so stress never spikes in traffic. To be a good partner. Listen, she told Vogue, extending that empathy inward by listening to her own heartbeat literally. As the sun dips and violet shadows sweep her terrace, she transitions seamlessly into the role she loves most. Grandmotherhood, joys, and family. Imagine 4 grandkids racing through rose arches while the theme from Funny Girl wafts from hidden speakers. That's a typical Saturday at the Brolin-Streisand household. Josh Brolin's daughters Westlyn, 6, and Chapel, 4, call her Barbar. And their delight became Instagram gold when a candid shot of the girls spotting dolphins off Nana's deck hit 2.4 million likes in hours. Family therapist Dr. Lawrence Steinberg notes that grandparental engagement boosts children's emotional IQ by 37%. Streisand raises that bar with impromptu photo shoots orchestrated by daughter-in-law Catherine Boyd, turning everyday moments into Smithsonian-worthy portraits. Personal confessions scrolling those pictures. I felt the rare warmth of a celebrity feed that isn't staged for branding, but radiates genuine awe. Social proof. Josh Brolin publicly thanked her on Jimmy Kimmel Live for teaching Westlyn to plant seedlings in the organic vegetable plot, sparking a spike in Malibu nursery sales the following week. Yet Barbra keeps the spotlight balanced. The grandkids' favorite hangout is her private cinema, where popcorn fountains operate beside life-size candy jars, echoing her Broadway-era philosophy that magic lives in detail. But here's the part they don't tell you. She bans phones during screenings, protecting children from blue light fatigue and preserving what educational psychologists call deep immersive memory. The result is a multi-generational ritual that fuses old-school storytelling with modern blockbuster fun. And when the credits roll, Streisand sings lullabies she once recorded for Columbia in 1965. Full-circle moments that remind us why legacy isn't built on trophies, but on shared echoes. With grandchildren tucked in and moonlight frosting the Pacific once more, Barbra cues up her studio monitors, ready to chase the next perfect note, setting the stage for the extraordinary career chapters yet to unfold. Brooklyn roots, childhood struggles. What if one of the richest voices in American music was nearly muted by the roar of a Brooklyn L train and the sting of poverty? Picture tiny Barbra Joan Streisand fatherless at 15 months, sleeping on a pullout in her grandparents' cramped apartment, singing into hallway echoes because the family couldn't afford a piano. The New York Times later called her a natural comedian. Yet classmates mocked her nose, and even her own mother urged her to get a secretarial job. I still marvel at the grit it took for a 13-year-old to barter babysitting for acting lessons at Cherry Lane Theatre, proof that raw talent can bargain with destiny. Sociologists say children who lose a parent face a 40% drop in upward mobility. Barbra flipped that statistic on its head, using loneliness as fuel. But here's the part they don't tell you: every note she perfected in those echoing hallways, hardened into the crystal tone that would later shatter box office records. Keep listening, because the girl deemed too plain was about to hijack Broadway's spotlight and never give it back. First Broadway breakthrough. Imagine walking into your first professional audition wearing a $10 thrift store fur coat and walking out with a standing ovation at 19. Streisand's gamble on "I Can Get It For You" wholesale turned a supporting role into theater legend when she belted Miss Marmelstein so ferociously the orchestra had to pause for laughter. Howard Taubman of the New York Times praised her arpeggiated laugh, while veteran producer David Merrick allegedly rewrote ad copy overnight to spotlight the unknown firecracker. My own aha moment came listening to that cast album. You can almost hear the audience gasp as a star ignites in real time. The performance earned her a Tony nomination and, more fatefully, introduced her to co-star Elliott Gould, setting the stage for headlines and heartbreak alike. But what happened next will surprise you, because Hollywood was about to stake its fortune on that same unlikely fur coat girl. Love. Marriage. Family ties. Can a voice built to fill Carnegie Hall also whisper through decades of complicated love? Streisand's private life reads like a screenplay whirlwind: marriage to Elliott Gould in 1963, the birth of son Jason in 1966, and a 1971 divorce that Gould later summed up as "she became bigger than us." Between platinum albums, she dated John Peters, charmed Don Johnson, and volleyed headlines with tennis icon Andre Agassi, all while tabloids predicted each romance would derail her artistry. Yet the plot twist arrived in 1996 when a blind date with actor James Brolin blossomed into a 27-year partnership that people calls one of Hollywood's healthiest. Brolin credits nightly 2-hour conversations for their bond. Therapists cite that practice as a gold standard intimacy hack. Their blended family now spans children, grandkids, and 3 cloned Coton de Toulet are pups because Barbra never does ordinary. Here's the secret: every broken lyric helped her write the ballad of lasting love, proving success needn't sacrifice connection, and that emotional bedrock would soon anchor a recording career that rewrote Billboard history. Record-setting music milestones. What does it take to top the album charts in 6 straight decades? Streisand did it by refusing to let record executives pick her songs, an unheard-of clause. She wrested from Columbia in 1962. The bet paid off $68.5 million US. Albums sold, 150 million worldwide, 34 Billboard Top 10s, and 10 Grammys, including Album of the Year for her 1963 debut. I still remember unboxing Guilty, the Barry Gibb duet LP that moved 15 million copies globally and made white jumpsuits suddenly chic. RIA data confirms she is the best-selling female recording artist of all time. Spotify's Gen Z streams suggest the reign isn't over. But here's the detail: streaming platforms rarely mention her late-night vocal sessions, captured when cortisol dips and vocal cords relax, lend that velvet finish fans describe as liquid gold. Stay tuned, because her mastery of melody soon collided with an even bigger screen. Trailblazing film directing. How many performers have stared down Hollywood's glass ceiling, then filmed right through it? In 1983, Streisand became the first woman to write, produce, direct, and star in a major studio picture with Yentl. The gamble netted her the Golden Globe for Best Director, an honor no other woman would hold for 37 years. Industry insiders whispered about budget overruns, audiences wept, and box offices roared. Earlier, her debut in Funny Girl earned an Oscar tie with Katharine Hepburn, cementing her dual medium supremacy. Critics point to The Prince of Tide's 7 Oscar nominations as proof of her narrative chops. I point to the fan who told me that movie saved her marriage after the couple saw therapy represented respectfully on screen. But here's the part they don't tell you: Streisand's directing contracts include final cut rights, a privilege directors half her age still fight for. That ironclad autonomy would inspire a new generation of female filmmakers and finance philanthropic dreams far beyond cinema. Philanthropy and business ventures. What if celebrity charity meant structural change, not photo ops? With a $10 million endowment, Streisand launched the Women's Heart Center at Cedars-Sinai, narrowing diagnostic gaps that once tripled female mortality rates. UCLA's Barbra Streisand Institute now funds research into truth in public discourse and climate risk mitigation, echoing her belief that purpose bigger than self fuels longevity. Financial filings show her foundation has donated tens of millions to environmental and voter education causes, while auctioning memorabilia from that famed underground mall to seed scholarships. I saw a 1930s Art Nouveau lamp she once owned light up a cancer ward when its sale funded new equipment proof that collectibles can literally illuminate lives. But what happened next will surprise you. Her 2025 album Rollout doubled as a UNICEF fundraiser, embedding donation links directly into streaming descriptions, a tactic digital strategists now call the Streisand integration. Before we peek at those latest studio sessions, we need to answer one question. Fans keep asking, how does a legend stay current at 83? 2025 Collaborations and Legacy Picture, a studio where Paul McCartney hums harmony, Ariana Grande tests whistle notes, and Bob Dylan scribbles lyrics. Welcome to the Secret of Life Partners. Volumber 2. Streisand's first new release in 7 years pairs her with Sam Smith, Hozier, and a Mariah-Ariana power trio that rocketed the teaser to 50 million TikTok views in 2 days. Rolling Stone hails the project as a masterclass in intergenerational synergy, while young fans flood comment threads with Queen of Longevity emojis. My spine tingled hearing her trade riffs with Lofi, turning jazz pop into time travel. Yet here's the kicker: she recorded many vocals inside her Malibu estate's subterranean studio, proving that innovation sometimes lives below sea level. As Grammy chatter swells, one truth emerges: legacy isn't a museum exhibit. It's a living duet between past and future. And speaking of numbers that live and breathe, let's tally the fortune financing all this creativity. Fortune. Art. Investments forecast. How large is the empire behind those spotless high notes? Financial analysts peg her 2025 net worth between $420 and $510 million, powered by perpetual royalties, film residuals, and strategic real estate. Her Malibu sanctuary alone, valued at $100 million, ranks among California's top 10 priciest private residences. Ada Van Gogh purchased for $447 million Modigliani sketches, and a vintage Bentley collection even after she sold the 1926 Rolls-Royce. And you see why art insurers call her portfolio museum grade. Forbes estimates her 2016-17 tour grossed over $50 million with single-night takes of $3.6 million. Interest on those earnings now underwrites research grants through 2050. Yet the most instructive line item is generosity annual foundation disbursements often exceed 8 figures. Shrinking taxable income while amplifying social impact, a masterclass in purpose-driven wealth management. I once met a UCLA scholar whose stipend came from Streisand's climate fund. She credited that support for a breakthrough on coastal resilience modeling. Here's the part they don't tell you: by carefully orchestrating auctions, royalties, and endowments, Streisand ensures her fortune will keep singing long after the final curtain. And that, perhaps, is her greatest encore and estate plan scored in major key, echoing through generations poised to find their own voice because she never silenced hers. If her underground mall amazed you, wait until you hear the duet lineup on her new album. Smash that like button, join the Cudelorio family, and drop a comment. Which Streisand secret stunned you most? Remember, applying just one insight from today's story could transform how you age with flair. Tell us what you'll try first.